It all began on a cold December night. My name is Beatrice, and I was standing in our living room, watching the lights on our Christmas tree twinkle. The holiday season, which once felt so full of magic and joy, now seemed to highlight the emptiness between Carlos and me. We were both 30, and the excitement of our first child had turned into a demanding routine that left little room for us as a couple. Carlos and I had been together for nearly a decade. Our relationship had started off with so much passion and love, but as time went on, we faced the inevitable challenges of life. The birth of our child had brought us immense joy, but it had also introduced stress and fatigue that slowly eroded the intimacy we once shared. We argued more often, and the spark that had once lit up our lives was flickering dimly. One day, after yet another frustrating argument, I decided that something had to change. I wasn't willing to let our marriage deteriorate further. I started researching ways to revive intimacy and connection. After countless hours of browsing, I came across a variety of products and ideas designed to reignite passion. I bought a selection of toys, lingerie, and costumes, hoping they would help us reconnect. For a short period, they did bring back some excitement. Our bedroom felt charged with new energy, and there were moments when it seemed like we were rediscovering each other. However, that renewed passion didn't last. The toys and costumes eventually became just another layer of clutter in our lives. The cycle of trying to revive our relationship and falling short continued. It was exhausting, and I felt like I was running in circles. One evening, after yet another failed attempt to rekindle our romance, I had an idea. Maybe what we needed was a change of scenery. We had been so focused on our home and the daily grind that we had lost touch with the outside world. I suggested we start going out more often, to bars and nightclubs where we could let loose and enjoy ourselves without the pressure of being perfect. Carlos was hesitant at first, but he agreed. We started exploring different places in the city, finding spots with lively music and a vibrant atmosphere. I loved dancing and losing myself in the music, while Carlos usually took on a more reserved role, watching me from the sidelines. There was something strangely satisfying about seeing him watch me enjoy myself, even if he wasn't actively participating. One Saturday night, we decided to hit a new nightclub that had just opened. The place was packed, with a pulsating beat and colorful lights that seemed to energize the whole room. I was in my element, dancing with abandon and losing myself in the rhythm. Carlos was nearby as usual, observing from a distance. The energy of the crowd and the music made me feel alive in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. In the midst of my dancing, I noticed a man who seemed to be moving in sync with me. His movements were fluid, and he seemed to be having just as much fun as I was. We started dancing together, and I got lost in the moment, thinking it was Carlos. With my eyes closed, I felt the rhythm and the connection between us, feeling an intense, almost electric energy. When I finally opened my eyes, I realized with shock that this man wasn't Carlos at all. Panic set in, and I stepped back, suddenly feeling exposed and vulnerable. Before I could react further, Carlos appeared beside me. To my surprise, he wasn't angry or upset. Instead, his face was lit up with an expression of excitement and intrigue. Carlos and I exchanged glances, and he gave me a reassuring smile. He took a moment to talk with the stranger, who understood the situation immediately and gave us space. Carlos seemed energized by what had just happened. It was as if the event had sparked something new in him. We ended up having a deep conversation that night, discussing what had just transpired and how it made us both feel. It turned out that Carlos was intrigued by the idea of exploring new dynamics in our relationship. We talked openly about our desires and boundaries. It was a liberating experience, and we both felt a newfound connection. The incident became a turning point for us. We realized that we could explore and experiment in ways we had never considered before. We began to explore this new dynamic further. Carlos and I started incorporating our desire to involve others into our relationship, carefully navigating this new territory together. We set clear boundaries and communicated openly about our feelings and expectations. It wasn't always easy, and there were moments of uncertainty and jealousy, but we worked through them together. One of the most surprising aspects of this journey was how it revitalized our marriage. We found that this new dynamic brought us closer together. We learned to communicate more effectively, and the passion that had once seemed lost was now rekindled in a new and exciting way. We discovered new facets of our relationship and new ways to connect with each other. It wasn't about seeking validation from others. It was about enhancing our connection and finding joy in our shared experiences. As we continued to explore and experiment, we made sure to keep our communication open and honest. We set aside time to talk about our experiences, to address any concerns or insecurities, and to reaffirm our commitment to each other. This process helped us build a stronger foundation for our relationship. Looking back, I realize how much we have grown. What started as a desperate attempt to fix our relationship turned into a transformative experience. We learned to embrace change and to explore new possibilities. Our marriage is stronger now, and we've grown closer as partners. The journey wasn't always smooth, but it was worth it. If you're in a similar situation, struggling to find connection and intimacy, don't be afraid to think outside the box. Sometimes exploring new dynamics or trying different approaches can lead to unexpected and positive changes. Communication is key, and being open to new experiences can help you rediscover the joy in your relationship. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this story. If you've faced similar challenges or have any advice on revitalizing a relationship, leave a comment below. Your experiences might help someone else who's going through a tough time. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more stories and insights in the future. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, every relationship has the potential to grow and thrive with a little creativity and commitment. Until next time, take care and cherish the connections you have.